So, good morning. Trina and I want to welcome you to our new little half-hour adventure in defeating anxiety, dealing with anxiety, stress, and self-care. We've put together a little program that we think will really help quickly. What else do you have to say about this, Trina?
Perfect. Yeah, and if you guys, we have a physical part at the end. So if you'd like to practice the physical piece at the end, you might want to grab a yoga block or two pillows. Whatever you have close by will be helpful for that. But yeah, then we'll go ahead and get started. And this should be done when you're like at home and relaxing and not like listening in the car or something like that.
Yes. And this has meant one thing to flow into the other and help you really chill.
Yeah. And I'll just switch our view, Selma, so that
Yes.
there you go. And then when I'm speaking, I'll be more.
All right. So the first thing is a breath exercise, and this is one of my favorite exercises. You can do it at red lights. You could do it when you get home and you realize you're carrying more anxiety than you're comfortable with. You can do it just all the time and practice and get it really anchored in your body. So you simply breathe in through your nose to a low number and then breathe out to a longer number, usually double. The number doesn't matter. The having a long, slow exhale through your mouth is what matters. And repeat it 5 or 6 times. And this triggers your body to deep relaxation. Breathe in through your nose to a low number and out your mouth to a much longer number. Many people purse their lips so they breathe out slower. Have fun with this. Relax. And the second exercise is called the Magic 333. Trina and I love this exercise because it's so simple. You don't have to think about anything. You can just do it. So look around the room you're in and name 3 things you see to yourself. And as you name it, really take it in like you're examining it and let go and go to the second object. And the object could be a shadow or light or something you've never noticed before, very small. It doesn't matter. And after the 3 items, then go to 3 things you can feel. It might be the weight of your clothes on your skin. It might be something in the room that has a texture that you feel you have to go touch it. It's so inviting. Or maybe displeasing. But notice how it feels. And find a third item in the room. Gaze at it. And if you can't go and feel it, imagine what it feels like. Give yourself that. Good. And the third thing of our magic 3 is to imagine how something tastes. Now, you might have a bowl of fruit in your room, but most of us don't. If you do, it would be very easy to imagine how that fruit tastes, or chocolate mint. But there's many other things that in our mind's eye have a taste. And you can use your mind and your past experience to create that for yourself with 3 objects right now. 1, take it in fully. 2, take it in. experience it. And 3, a third object. Give yourself the full experience. Good. Now, the cognitive shuffle is my latest favorite exercise for when I can't sleep or for when I'm on overload or anxious or, that edgy, tense feeling we get, like if I go near my news channel, that feeling. So, one of the things I do is called the cognitive shuffle. And what you do is you think of an object like a river or a hand or a rock, it doesn't matter what. And then you look at the first letter of that object and to yourself in your mind's eye, with your eyes closed, think of other objects that start with the letter R and are not related. You're not telling yourself a story. This is the opposite of telling yourself a story. And when you get that object in your mind, you sort of fully take it in and then let it go and move on to the next object, that starts with that letter. And do this till you feel kind of empty of objects, maybe 5 or 6. This is not a big thinking exercise. It's a letting go of thinking and kind of evoking. And when you're empty, move to the second letter of the word you picked and think of an object that begins with that letter and take it in. See it, feel it, smell it, and then move on to another object that begins with that letter. Very often I'm asleep by the time I do this. It's very soothing. So practice this as a way of decomposing, of letting go. Some people do it in the car before they walk into their house at night. It marks a transition. And give yourself the space to breathe, to feel, and to let go of all the things of the day. Have fun with this. And now Trina's going to treat us to some physical movements.
Thank you, Selma. Yeah, so we'll come into, now that your minds feel maybe a little bit softer. I know my mind feels a little softer. My breath feels maybe a little bit fuller, a little less choppy. Now we're going to come also into a physical practice to support ourselves. And while we're in the physical practice, it can be easy sometimes to notice tension or anxiety arising in the body. And when you feel sensations in the body while we are practicing, what I would want you to think about is imagine your living room and just imagine making a nice cup of tea for those sensations as they come up and just greeting them and inviting them into the living room of your heart, of your experience. You can say, "Oh, hello, my hip tension," or, "Oh, there you are, my anger. I see you." And you can just offer them a comfy chair and just invite them with you. And you don't need to go into any more of the cognitive thinking. This is really a time, like Selma was saying, to get to decompress from some of the tension and anxiety of the day. So we'll bring our 2 pillows or our 2 blocks to our mat. And I have behind me as well a yoga bolster. So if you are lucky enough to have a bolster, you can practice with that bolster. I'm actually going to go ahead and plug my microphone in so you guys can hear me a little more clearly when we practice. Otherwise, my voice gets cut out a little. So, and Selma, I won't be able to hear you once I plug this in. It's the strangest thing. I'm like on the moon, going to the dark side. There we go. Okay, so gonna come over to your mat. You actually don't even need a mat for this. You can just arrive in your carpet. You can practice on your bed, wherever you would like. And the first thing that we're going to do is a supported child's pose. So this pose, the first time I did child's pose, I think was when I knew I wanted to practice yoga. It just felt like a tremendous alleviation, a cessation of a lot of the busyness that I had been in since graduate school. So I'm going to take a block or my yoga bolster and place it behind me underneath my pelvis. And if you have the experience of like a joint replacement at your knees or hips, this can be really wonderful because this reduces the position, the intensity of the position that bodies can be in when they're kneeling. But if you feel really comfortable, you don't need a block. So you can figure out what is good for you, and then bring your knees a comfortable distance apart from one another, and place your block a comfortable distance in front of you. We're going to walk our hands forward, and we're going to place our foreheads to rest onto our blocks. And you have options with your arms. You can rest your arms with the palms down, with your elbows down on the ground to sort of support you here. You can reach your arms out. That's a little bit more active, a little bit more intense, but whatever feels comfortable here. And then the first thing we do with all of our yoga or all of our asana practices is that we just tune into the breath. So breathing in, aware of your in breath, breathing out, aware of your out breath. And enjoy breathing like that for 4 or 5 breaths. Good. Noticing in breath and noticing out breath. And when you're ready, we'll gently walk our hands back up, taking one block off of our mat, and we're going to change position. So we're going to come down to lie on our back on a bed, on the floor, on your yoga mat, whatever surface you like to work on. And let's rest with our feet flat on the earth. And again, just noticing the felt breath in the body and allowing for whatever might be there. We'll take our hands, our palms, and place them gently on either side of our pelvis. And sometimes that's called the hip points, but really those are little pelvic markers. Our pelvis is the heavy, dense, really stable bone for us, and we're going to gently rock it. So this, you can imagine, we're going to do cat cows on our back so that there's no loading, and you can really just move as much or as little as you like to, but make sure to connect this motion with your breath. So everyone imagine like you have a very shallow bowl of warm water on your tummy. And when you breathe in, you're going to imagine tilting the bowl as if it was going to slosh down towards your legs. And you can move your low back away from the earth some amount and just breathe in, softening the belly. And as you exhale, we'll move the spine into the other direction, into the cat direction. Now sloshing the water back towards our chest, scooping our tail under, and you might flatten your low back some towards the ground some amount. Breathing in, cow. Breathing out, cat. Invite in on your in-breath the calm, tranquility, peacefulness of a cow chewing in a field. And on your out breath, invite in that really lush
relaxation that you see your furry friends do when they're taking a nap, sleeping in the sun, like a cat sleeping on a nice sunny window. Let's do one more breath in and one more breath out. Relax and release your body from any sort of movement, any kind of doing. There's nothing to release here. Our next movement, we'll do a knee to chest asana. So there's a little bit of a flow here. So we'll bring our right knee towards our chest and catch it with your right hand. And some people like to catch behind their knee. They feel more comfortable with that. So either behind your knees or on your shins, wherever it feels comfortable to place your hands. And you might notice that your low back flattens a little bit here, and that's okay. You don't need to change anything. This is not about effort today. This is just about being with what is. So when you're ready, take a breath in. And as you do that, press your knees away from you, just an inch or two. And as you exhale, gently move your knees towards you, your thighs towards your body. And breathing in, pressing the knees away. And exhaling, drawing the knees a little inward towards the chest. You can have your legs as wide as you like. Breathing in, thighs away. Breathing out, thighs come toward the body. Let's do 2 more breaths like that. Really allow the whole of your awareness to settle in the attention of your breath and any sensations arising in the body that you might be curious about, that might be new for you, that feel easy, relaxing, restful, peaceful, compassionate. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take our legs down and step your feet wide as you like. Can be a little wider than hip distance, can be a little more narrow, whatever feels comfortable for your body. You want to feel as much ease as possible. And you have 2 options with your arm positions. You can let the bones of your arms really be drawn towards the earth. Like you really can feel that gravity is pulling the arm bones to the earth and just rest here. Or you always can take your arms up and overhead in like a diamond shape with the palms up maybe over your head. Make sure you have some wiggle room here. Literally, this is a wiggle wag, a wig wag. And either with your arms in a diamond shape overhead or down by your sides, take a nice breath in and allow both knees to draw over to the right side. And as you exhale, bring the knees back up to center. And then we'll breathe in and we'll go into the other direction, breathing in. And as you breathe out, drawing the knees back up to center. And earlier in our practice, we spoke about sensing with fingers tips. And now I want you to sense instead inside the body. As you breathe in, what do you notice in your stomach, in your esophagus? As you breathe out, what do you notice in your pelvic floor, in your hip joints? Allow yourself to become aware of the constellation of sensations that are arising inside of the body and offer spaciousness, easefulness to participate and feel those sensations. The next time that your knees come back up to their start point, we're going to perform perhaps the most important pose in yoga, Shavasana pose. We're going to bring blocks. Actually, I lied. Let's do one more posture first, and we could do Shavasana in this next posture. This is perhaps my most favorite pose. This and Shavasana. Can't believe I almost forgot this. So take your block or take a pillow. A pillow works really well here, especially if you have a lot of sensitivity. And you're going to lift your hips up and place your block underneath your pelvis. Now, you want to place it wherever it feels the most easeful. And don't place it on a high side, place it on a low side. And if you have a pillow, it's kind of generally easier to find the right place. You know you're in the right place. Be a bit picky because all of your body feels like it can relax. So we're going to have our feet onto the floor and our arms will be in that upside down view with the palms up and the bones of our arms releasing, dropping heavy into the earth. The bones of the feet spreading wide and really grounding us into the earth. The earth is cradling and supporting us. And we have this beautiful support at the back of our sacrum, the back of our pelvis, our root chakra. Taking some breaths here, you can take a nice belly breath in. Breathing in, I'm aware of my in breath. And breathing out, I am aware of my out breath. Breathing in, I am aware that I can help to calm my body and my mind. Breathing out, offering my body and mind peace. Breathing in, calm, and breathing out, peace. And you can stay here for 5 more breaths, or if you really feel like you will miss Shavasana, you can elevate your hips off of your block or your pillow. Place your pillow or your block under your knees. And then again, just come into rest where you allow your legs to be as wide as is most comfortable, to roll out in a degree that feels very comfortable. Sometimes it's wonderful to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just to bear witness to your in and your out breath, to offer warmth, offer yourself peace and calm, compassion and ease. Ease for the physical body, compassion and ease for the busy mind and all that we do. Good. And at the end of 5 breaths, we'll finish our little mini asana practice, anxiety reduction, anxiety care, I should say. And notice how your felt sense in your body, the felt sense in your breath, in your mind might feel a little different from when we first started, when you first turned on this video. And you can do those practices anytime, any mixture of those, anytime you'd like. I'm going to just unplug my mic and we'll share the screen again.
That was great.
Thank you so much. So is your offering. That was wonderful. Is there anything else before we close out, or I think we're good?
I think people should pick and choose from these and make it a practice to be kind to your body. You give gifts to other people all the time. Give yourself the gift of inner calmness.
That's so
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you, my friend. We'll stop our recording.